Hello my fellow ROM2 players, Zaript here with a video that's supposed to be sort of a channel update. I will be discussing my channel, I would be discussing patch 5 and a couple of upcoming big tournaments. Let's start with my channel. The biggest change you could have noticed, sometimes you're now getting advertisement before the video, which I hope you can skip. I hope I got the settings right. And the reason for that is the way YouTube monetization works. To get my first paycheck, I need $50. I didn't get a single cent from YouTube yet. And the reason I need these $50, like I have $5 to reach the goal, because I want to buy a new microphone and my budget just isn't enough. So to pay for like 30%, $50 would be like 30% of a price. So that's why I enabled that advertisement, so sorry guys, sorry, but I want a new toy. I really want. Now for patch 4 that came out a couple of days ago. I didn't make a video right away because I already noticed that CA sometimes forget to mention some of the changes. And even if they mention them, it's not always obvious how changes affect balance, affect the game. So let's go through patch notes that I picked. This is the stuff that I found interesting as multiplayer player, so I skipped campaign and stuff. First of all, obviously memory footprint decrease in battles should be good. I didn't notice it honestly, but theoretically we are getting better textures on the same hardware, or more animations at the same time. Didn't notice, but probably there is something. Now, this thing I was talking about a lot before. I made the whole video showcasing this feature. I will link it in the description if you're interested, because some people don't understand what it is. So when you select some units, hover left mouse over them, hold it and drag, you will move units in formation, so they will keep formation even if they are not in a locked group. How it worked before, you had to wait for a second before feature kicked in. Now it's instant. And the problem with it, if you select units by dragging, like, you know, like really fast, sometimes you would be accidentally moving your units. This could be disabled, so if it annoys you, I will explain in the end later how to disable it. Now for next change, spectators can now see both sides regardless of if they're hidden or not. That's very cool for casters, but it at the same time creates a problem. Now we need to think about delay on the stream and how to deal with stream cheating. But overall, the change is good. The change is good because now we can cast armies before they engaged without waiting for something to come out of a forest, which we don't know, so it completely screws up our understanding of a game. So this is cool. Now, improvement for timing when pikemen switch between pikes and swords. Also, they rejiggled pike attack slightly. If you remember in patch 4, pikes were so unresponsive, made a video on that too, that it was very difficult to use them. If you want to know if it's changed completely, no, it didn't. Pikes still kinda unresponsive. They still drop attack orders sometimes. They still don't attack eagerly, but they just slightly more active. Literally, slightly. And switch between pikes and swords become a bit important as well if you want to deal with skirmishes. It's important. And by the way, if you one thing to mention while I remember about this switch, when you use some abilities on a unit, like let's say on Hoplites, let's say you use Hoplite Phalanx, you will notice that commander in a unit, man in the middle with a standard, he actually shouts out command, and there is slight delay. So when he like loudly says phalanx, and they get into phalanx, so it's not instant. This is actually quite a cool feature which I didn't notice before. So responsiveness could depend on that as well. But overall, be careful, pikes are not completely back to a state of early game, first patches, so you still need to babysit them if you use them. Fixed collision on some large rocks on Carthage battle map to prevent units from passing through them. I just mentioned this because I want you guys to remember every time you encounter such a problem, flying rocks, flying objects, messed up textures, always make a screenshot and then put it on a forums into support section, because CA actually fixing it every patch quite fast. The problem is finding all texture bugs is actually quite difficult, so make sure you make a screenshot and link it in support forum. That's what I wanted to ask you. And now, huge issue for balance, huge change. Added new missile block chance for shields and some new shield types to enable better balancing. What this means? This means that before, when you shoot enemy from a front, your arrows power were decreased by armor, by shield, but it still did some damage to health. Now there is a chance from 0 to 50%, depending on a shield, not from 0 but from 5%, I believe, that missile would be completely blocked. So sometimes you would be shooting from front and your missiles would be wasted, and that's important change. On the first side, it completely nerfs missiles, but we will talk about it later, okay? How this change works with another change. Added unit number cut to unit cards. Well, let me show you what it means. So battle interface, unit card man count, and it will just say you how many men you left in a unit instead of a health bar. Quite useful. Can enable it now. Chat toggle button is no longer grayed out when people set their state to ready in lobby. Well, obviously a good thing. Why shouldn't you be able to chat when you're ready to fight? Fix for unit size option being reset. I don't know yet if it really fixes all problems with unit sizes, but, well, step in the right direction, but still require a lot of testing. Never can tell for sure. Various fixes for change team button being incorrect, like in incorrect state. What it means is, and check it guys, okay, because I cannot check it alone. It means that, for example, in 2v2 lobby, sometimes when you switch to other team and other player switches, instead of 2v2, it appears like you have 1 versus 3, sort of a lag of a lobby. I don't believe all of that issues are solved, but maybe some. Okay, getting to interested stuff. Battlehood with double line unit cards will shrink to single line. Well, I didn't have that problem, but people with low resolution or small monitors had it. So, well, now you have less troubles. Good change. This one is very useful. Added tooltip for ability effect icons on unit banners in battle and made those icons larger. Now remember, when you use whistling arrows or warcry or intimidation or headhunt, whatever, you see small red or green circle appear near unit flag, unit banner. Now they're really big, and now you can actually see what exact effect applied. Because before, sometimes it was difficult to distinguish between fire arrows and whistling arrows. But now you can have a tooltip. Very useful. Now for the thing that is, for some reason, not in the patch notes. So, sort of a ninja changes. First is nerf for melee, infantry and cavalry HP. Let me go with the factions that I remember fairly well with Sparta. So Spartan pikes, they had in different times, I believe, from 40 to 60 HP. Now it's 40. Like, it was 55 at some point. I might be wrong, but more importantly, it really got decreased by 10. And if we go for Arverni and go over any units, you will see that health now decreased. It's 35 for most infantry, 35, 30. For skirmishers, it's 25. Why is this very important? Let's get these two things together. First of all, shields can block damage from a front completely. Chance, like from 10 to 50% damage. But at the same time, missile takes less missile to kill infantrymen. And that's why I needed 2 days to test it. And I can tell you for sure, guys, yes, skirmishers become weaker frontally, but they never killed as fast from behind. If you sneak your skirmisher to enemy right side or behind enemy, they just wreck kills on insane speed. So I'm actually very pleased by this change, because now just bringing a lot of skirmishers isn't going to win you a game. You actually need to place them properly, and it actually gets creates some space for skirmishing cavalry, because bow cavalry, because of their mobility, well, or camel archers, they can get behind enemy and shoot their back, and each missile having 27 damage, depending on armor, can get half HP, I believe, on a unit. So it dynamic changes a lot. Positioning for skirmishes become essential. Another thing, because all skirmishers now 25 health, suddenly javeliners and javelin cavalry became very strong at hunting other skirmishers. 26 damage on this guy is not scary, but 33 on a Tarantine becomes more scary. Celtic skirmishers 33, so they kinda, if you get them close, enemy have to run away. His slingers and archers, they have to run away and they cannot stop anymore. And gamer dudes to say me that actually these javelin cavalry, because of their health and their missile damage, they wreck foot skirmishes. They come close, throw javelins and destroy them very fast. Something I didn't test yet, but it sounds interesting. What other changes? Trample bonus decrease. It's something to do with shock cavalry. I didn't check it in the game files, I'm not good with it, but people report that trample, which was doubling charge bonus before, now gives only 50% increase, which changes dynamic between cavalry in a strange way. Because health got decreased, let's take a look at Parse, for example. The biggest health cavalry unit, Cataphracts, they were 115. Now it's 105, and they have less trample. So what happens? In a counter charge with melee cavalry, they kill less initially, and on a longer run, because of melee defense and lower melee attack, fight actually evened up slightly. So it's a slow shift, but it's really important one. Now if you micro your melee cavalry properly, you can deal with shock cavalry nicely. I'm not sure where exactly balance will stop. There is still obviously I cannot tell you in 2 days, but dynamic changes a lot just by 10 decrease in health. Actually, another thing because of health decrease is pikes become stronger. Like frontally, pikes kill enemy much faster now. Another change is elephant's HP increase. So for some reason it's not mentioned as well, but I believe they were like 200 HP less on all elephants. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I remember it. Actually, I may need your help here. Another change is Actuderon map. Let's take a look. Custom battle settings, select a map. Let's select Actuderon. Remember this map? this area was actually completely open. There were no forests. Now there is, so I'm not sure. This is a big change which not mentioned in patch notes, but it changed dynamic of Actudoron heavily. So keeping in mind when you play on this map in a new patch, be careful. Okay, now things to mention. Remember this left click and dragging tool? Now I will show you how to disable it or fix it. So let's go to preference script text and let's scroll down to the bottom of it, and you can see battle left click drag move delay. Now it's 0 by default, and this value is how much seconds you have to hold mouse over your units to feature to kick in. So put it to 3 seconds if you want to disable it completely, because you will never hold your mouse for 3 seconds on one place, obviously. I put it in half a second, but that's how you fix this feature if it annoys you. Another thing only useful for people who make YouTube videos or cast replays. Actually, you can enable drawing tools in single player or when you're watching replays. I don't know if it's a recent addition or not, but here it is. It's called where is it? It's called UI user interface. Where is it? I'm sure it was here. Did I delete it? No, it's unlikely. Oh, come on. How did I lose it? Sorry, guys. This is actually quite strange. It's called passhole room list telestration. Oh, sorry. Here it is. So we telestration always on true. It's on false by default. So if you want to have drawing tools in replay or single player, here, now you have it. Now you have it. So this takes quite a bit of time. So that's main things I have to say about patch 5, except probably for Suicides. I'm not ready yet to judge this faction. They seem like a stronger Egypt with like Egypt with weaker infantry but stronger cavalry. Seem very versatile. Their expensive units are not particularly cost effective, and they cannot field big armies, but they quite sturdy. Personally, I don't feel like they're OP, like, can't tell. I didn't play against good players yet. On a ladder, I obviously don't have much troubles with Suicides, so don't have much to tell. I guess the biggest thing to notice about them is insane armored elephants and a mix of strong melee and shock cavalry. These guys can dominate your cavalry field, well, but the problem is, yes, you dominate cavalry field, but if you do that, you can't take a lot of infantry. It's an expensive one, so you have to take weak infantry, and your skirmish is not particularly strong, I guess, except for these Eastern Javelins. They have 40 missile damage. There's actually another change that got completely hidden, ninja'd. Or maybe it's not a change, maybe I'm remembering something wrong, but I think skirmishes damage got changed a bit. So I don't know where to get this information. Honestly, so strange. Okay, now guys, last thing I want to do is let's go for tournaments I mentioned. First one is Rome 2 Fall Cup, which held the Indiegogo campaign for community to support it, and yes, the goal of $800 was reached. So now 100 and let's see, 28 players would be fighting for this prize pool. So there is no spots left, but it's still tournament that I expect to be quite active, quite big, and quite interesting. So take a look at Total War Clan Center. Keep an eye on it. I obviously would be casting as much as I can. Not sure how much time I will get. And take a look at funders, guys. I will not show if some of them don't want to be showed, but if you meet them, tell them thank you for supporting Rome 2 competitive scene, something that like from their own pocket. That's quite cool, I believe. The team of a tournament, as you can see, quite unknown names, people who did host a lot of tournaments before, and I should say quite an impressive casting team. Prussian Prince, Gamer Dudes, Deeplex, Lionheart, Malakis, like people with good YouTube channels. I will not mention myself because I cannot judge myself, obviously. And I see a lot of problems with my casting, with quality, with my voice, with my pronunciation, and whatever. So, but I'm part of this team as well. So I will try to deliver as much as I can. Another tournament to mention is Imperium Inferno. So, first thing to know that this tournament still have 6 free spots left. So if you're interested, please take a look, join. This tournament have very interesting rules. It actually splits factions to different groups according to their strengths. I don't know how strength is measured because I don't see Suebi in a strong group by any means. But they're here, and Parse for some reason moderate, I'm not sure why. But that's how they measure strength. It will be changing probably, depending on results. And why is that important? Depending on what faction you pick and your enemy pick, you get different amount of points for victory. So for example, if you picked Egypt against Athens, you will get only half point. But if Athens won against Egypt, it will get 3.5. Interesting idea to balance factions on a risk-reward area. Like, you are risking by taking Athens, but you will be rewarded if you play good. And another thing, I believe... I'm not sure, where is it? I think you have to... You can only pick faction once in a group stage. So you have to rotate through all factions. Well, maybe not all, but through different factions, which is good, interesting as well. I'm not confident that this is the best way to balance the game, but it's an interesting way nevertheless. So let's take a look, and if you want to test your strengths, well, there is still 6 more slots. Take a look. Well, saying that, this was quite a bit of time. This took quite a bit of time. Thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments below. Leave your feedback, because I honestly need it to know if I'm going in the right direction or not, if it was useful or not. So thank you guys for watching, and see you later.